guys can tell, like, there's so much space. Like, here's my hand comparison, but I guess what's really affecting me is more so like the side of the car, because whenever I scrape, this is really where the car is scraping. I don't know if the side is any lower than the front. It actually looks like it, but yeah, I'm definitely scraping every time I go over like a speed bump. So much so that I kind of broke the car. If you can tell down here, like right over here, you can probably notice there's something missing, and that something is this. So if you guys didn't know already, the car is lowered on some KW V1 coilovers. It is obviously pretty low. It is weird that the front doesn't feel too low. The wheel gap is pretty tight, so obviously this is the front here, and then the rear is not as bad. It's not as low basically, so I do have some more wheel gap, so I think I'm just gonna really raise up the front. Hopefully that will do it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. If I raise up the front and it kind of starts to look a little funny, maybe I'll adjust the rear as well, but for now I can't have things like this still happening. So in other words, guys, the car is so low that I've kind of been scraping the side of it as I've been going over speed bumps, so much so that I kind of broke off the jack pad stand. So if you guys know, like, this thing kind of sits a little lower than the rest of the car. So as you can tell, if you see, like, right over here, this piece kind of broke off. I'm really hoping that it's not still stuck inside the car, because that would really suck. Otherwise, these things are actually pretty cheap to replace, about like $6 or $7 off FCP Euros, so I'm not too worried about like this itself. Also, as you can tell, it's pretty banged up, so obviously whoever's been jacking up the car before I owned it hasn't been doing it the right way, so I'm not too worried about this. Again, hopefully this piece is not still stuck in the car, but obviously, guys, that kind of tells me the car is a little too low. I kind of knew that from the beginning, so in this video I'm going to be raising it up. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to take the car over to my mom's house so I can actually have a driveway to do this, because obviously in this parking lot, not the most ideal situation to raise a car and adjust some coilovers. So let me do that. Thankfully, guys, it is pretty easy to adjust these coilovers. Just like most coilovers, it's not too bad. I'm thinking like ½ an inch to maybe like an inch in the front. Hopefully that should do it, but we'll see. Again, it kind of sucks that I broke that thing. Not the end of the world, but it still sucks regardless. We'll lift up the car, take off the wheels, and adjust these coilovers. So let's go do that. So this right over here is one of the many speed bumps that destroys the car. I do normally try to angle it, but you know, it's obviously just not enough. That one isn't the worst. There's a couple other ones that are even worse, so I'm gonna see if I can angle it. I think now with that jack pad off, that was probably one of the main things I was scraping, but regardless, I still need to raise this car. Ooh, look at that X3 M40. Honestly, if I could have just like one daily driver that's supposed to be practical, it would definitely be an X3 M40. Such good looking trucks. You get the B58, good amount of power. That's what I'd pick, that right there. If I didn't have the 435 and I had to be a family man, that's the car I'd pick. Oh, there he goes. Alright guys, so I just got here, so I'm going to start adjusting the coilovers like I said, so mainly the front. Obviously have a couple tools, so tape measure so I can actually take some measurements of the height, torque wrench so I can actually torque the wheels down correctly, breaker bar so I can take the wheels off, and then most importantly is, well, I mean they're all important, but this over here is the adjusting tool, so I'll show you guys exactly how to use it, but this is what I'm actually going to use to adjust the coilovers. So what I'm going to do first is, of course, I'm going to loosen up the wheels, which are mad dirty and filled with brake dust, but that's going to be an issue for another day. But I'm going to loosen up the wheels, lift up the car, take the wheels off, and then get to adjusting this. So I'll, of course, take my measurements and all that type of stuff. I'll take you guys along for the ride, give you an idea of like what it's like to adjust it. But anyways, let me start doing that. So as you guys can see, I removed the wheel and now we can better see the coilover over here. So this, of course, is the part that I'm going to be spinning. So I'm going to take that tool, which I have somewhere. Then you take this tool, you lock it in, and you basically just turn it. So I believe right is to lower it, left is to raise it. So we're going to be raising it a little bit. But before doing that, I'm going to take my measurements. So I'm going to measure from here to over here and make sure, one, I'm going in the right direction, and two, so I have like a specific height so I can make the other side match as well. So I'm going to do that right now. So I just finished adjusting it. As you guys can tell, I was kind of wrong. I did it on the other side. I was kind of spinning it the wrong side at first. Again, guys, I'm no expert. I'm just some dude, but basically just want to increase the distance between this and that to basically, you know, like raise up the car. So to do that, I actually had to spin it going that way. Just heads up if you guys want to do the same. But yeah, I basically adjusted it maybe like half an inch, maybe just a little more than half an inch. Hopefully that'll be enough. I still want the car to be low, but just not as low as it was before. So not only that, guys, I actually got the car wheel alignment pretty recently, so I don't want to adjust the ride height too much, because I think if you adjust it to a certain amount, you have to get another wheel alignment, which I don't want to do right now. So I'm hoping half an inch will do it. Also, I really like how the car looks lowered, if I'm being honest, so I don't want to raise it too much. I'm kind of upset that I have to raise it. Maybe airbags will be in my future, who knows. So let me throw the wheel back on, drop the car, and I'll do the other side. So right now there's definitely a lot more wheel gap. Before I couldn't even put like a finger through. I can right now. I'm guessing it's probably gonna settle down a little bit since the car was just raised, but I'm hoping it stays pretty close to this because I think right now this looks good, and I think this is gonna be a little more functional. All right, so this is probably a good time for me to remind you, if you're not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It'll really help me out, guys. I make videos pretty often, so if you wanna follow the build and follow the progress, please hit that button. A lot more mods are coming, so stay tuned. Anyways, with that said, I'm probably gonna do the other side right now, guys. I'm not gonna record it because it's probably gonna be a little too boring, but I wanna show you guys the finished product afterwards, so definitely stay tuned to the end of the video. So what's the movie magic? It's all done, especially my hands, as you guys can tell, but both sides are done. This side definitely looks really high right now because, again, it was just lifted, so that's not how it's actually gonna sit, but I think the other side settled a little bit, so I think this is gonna be more of like an accurate representation of what it's gonna be like. So again, you can obviously fit like one whole finger in here. I think it's actually a little higher than the rear at this point right now. It's about like that, so pretty similar, but probably a little higher. I think the front will maybe settle a little more in the meantime, so hopefully the front and the rear will be pretty even after that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look the best, unfortunately. I think it looked way better before, but I mean, obviously I'm starting to like break stuff and scrape. It is what it is, guys. It's gonna be more functional, so that was the whole purpose of this. All right, so I came inside the car to get away from the heat wave that's happening outside. So the ride height is all set. I raised it about like half an inch or so on both the front left and front right, of course. Hopefully that means I don't need another wheel alignment, but I'm also gonna see what it looks like when it settles. For those of you who always watch my YouTube videos, you'll notice this one is a little different. I cut out a lot of stuff that I normally do. I'm trying to make the videos a little simpler and more streamlined, a little shorter, because I know a lot of people aren't really like a fan of the longer format. So those of you who normally watch, like, let me know if you guys prefer it this way, if you guys prefer it the other way. But yeah, anyways, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please drop it a like, drop me a comment, guys. Let me know what you think about the new ride height. I'm not crazy about it, but you know, I think in this case it's function over form, so it is what it is. Hopefully I'll stop scraping. That's the important part. And as always, if you're not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It'll really help me out, guys. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.